YouTube channel. So hi everyone, my name is Lori Salazar and I'm the Associate Director for the Center for Student Involvement. And here we have our lovely team of campus safety, parking and transportation, and emergency planning that will be doing your webinar today. And we're going to get started with campus safety services. So we're going to start with Jake. Go ahead.
There it is. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is well. My name is Jacob Malai. Thank you, Lori, for the introduction. Jacob Malai from Campus Safety Services. I'm excited to have everyone here today joining us for this informational session regarding campus safety services and all of the organizations that fall under the auspices of campus safety services, to include parking and transportation and our emergency operation group headed by Tyler Masamori, and our parking group, which is headed by Leah Nagasaki Peterson. So my first slide, I'm just gonna kind of work through about 7 or so slides. Give you an overview of kind of our operation, but I wanted to start off by giving you my information. You have the spelling of my first and last name. I'm the Assistant Director of Campus Safety Services. I've been here for about 18 months. And this is my direct contact phone line. So if you guys can reach me at 408-554-5082. I'll give you guys a minute to copy that down before moving to the next slide. Okay, so for today's webinar, kind of our goals for today, first and foremost, is to welcome the newest members to our Bronco community. Hopefully, by now, you've recognized that one of the core strengths of Santa Clara University is the fact that we have a great community here, and that we do a great job of welcoming our newest members. So welcome to our family. And secondly, our goal here today is we know this is a stressful time a lot of times for parents and students alike. But this is kind of our way of providing some general background information and kind of assuaging some of the concern that comes with move in, acclimating to a new place, a new location, a new home, so to speak, for the next 4 years, especially as it relates to things that we stress about: safety and security, parking and transportation, and emergency operations. As parents, we're all parents, and we understand that those are definitely some stress points that probably are on all of your plates right now. And so we want to do our best to assuage some of those concerns and to address some very specific questions that we received preemptively. So I'm going to talk a little bit about campus safety services specifically. My partners are going to talk specifically about their groups, and we all are going to speak as to how our operation and how our services can help support your student and their journey. Because I think it's super important for everyone to start off on the right foot. And I think part of starting off on the right foot is to understand access and understand the resources that are available to you as a new student and as a new member of the community. And so I know that that's our goal today, is to give you some information about what we do and how we do it, so that you guys can pass that along to your students. We're not going to answer every question today. I don't think. There'll probably be other questions that come about either from the discussion or something you think of, along the way. That's totally fine. You can call me at that number that I just put up, or you can email me. I didn't put up my email, but my email is jmalai, MALAE, @scu.edu. A great way. I'm always available. It's a great way to get your questions answered offline. I think you can also put, Laura, you might be able to help me, but I think you can also put some questions in the chat, maybe, and we'll do our best to answer those questions as they come about. The last thing that's listed here is frequently asked questions. We received some questions prior to the presentation. We'll do our best to answer the specific questions we received. and any other questions we receive in the chat. Yeah, start off by giving you my number. I'm going to give you the Campus Safety Services number. You'll see it. You see it there. Why is this important? I think this is important. Number one, because campus safety is one of the few entities 24/7 operation. If you call this number, you will receive a live voice or hear a live voice on the other end. We staff our dispatch center, like I said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So we're always available. General questions about safety. We'll talk through some of the specifics that we do and get involved with. But this is our general number that you guys should all be aware of and have in your phones. So who are Campus Safety Services? Well, I'll read this just verbatim. A group that collaborates across divisions and departments to support a diverse and inclusive university community in a manner that fosters safety and belonging, and that encourages student learning and success. We operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, serving the community of students, faculty, staff, alumni, and university guests. We are collaborative partners in implementing the Jesuit commitment to Cura Personalis with all members of our community, particularly with regard to the holistic formation of our students. Okay, so it's kind of a fancy way of saying that we as Campus Safety Services, we care, we support the university's mission, and that we're here to serve. We collaborate with groups across campus during the year to help with your student success.
Not showing some of it.
Am I not? Give me a pause here. I think I'm having some technical difficulties. Am I not showing my screen?
You're showing it, it just didn't show that it advanced.
Oh, it didn't. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Thumbs up.
We can see your screen. It just says Campus Safety Services, your initial first slide.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can get this figured out. Hold on.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, is that better now? Is everybody seeing my screen? I apologize. Let me go back.
And I shared that number in the chat, so they have the main office number and the emergency number in the chat as well.
Awesome. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'll continue. So we saw that one. We read through that one. All right, so here's just kind of a listing of our team at Campus Safety Services, all the way from director. This is kind of how we're structured. We have a director, Phil Beltran, myself as the assistant director. We have an office manager, shift supervisors, assistant shift supervisors, staff members. They're all important, but I won't, for the sake of time, name all of them. But if you ever need access to any one of us, this is who's serving your student for the next year. But as you'll learn, let me just kind of give you some background. We come from all different backgrounds. We have all kinds of different experience. We have people here who have been here for 30 years. We have people here who have been working here at Campus Safety for 30 days. But the one thing we have in common, and the one thing that we're committed to, is service. We're here to serve the Bronco community. We do that by availing ourselves 24/7, 365 days a year, and working collaboratively across divisions to support student well-being and success. That's what we do. Our core values are listed there. We believe in service. We believe in professionalism. Integrity is super important to all of us. resourcefulness and empathy. Resourcefulness and empathy, the last two are super important in terms of our dealings every day with not only your student but the Bronco community as a whole. I think if we're coming from a place where we can provide resources and we are knowledgeable about resources, I think we are in a better position to assist those that we come into contact with. I think it's equally important, as much as it is important for us to be resourceful, it's equally important for us to be empathetic. So I think when dealing with people, empathy is a super important skill to have, and that we expect all of our staff members to have as we deal with those in our community and try to assist them in their journey. So some of the things that we can help with, we can assist with. I'll give you some specifics. These aren't all geared towards new members or freshmen, but a lot of them are. Lockouts, we assist with lockouts on a daily basis. So if your student ever has an issue getting into their respective space, they can always call campus safety to assist with that and to help them get back into their living area. Lost and found, we do operate a lost and found. If you do an item on campus, we do receive items and give back items. We have a storage facility here at Campus Safety. So if your student loses something, a good place to start checking would be Campus Safety Services. Some of the residence halls have elevators. Those that do, sometimes they get stuck. We provide elevator assistance fairly regularly. And when an elevator goes down, we're the ones that get the call. So know that if that situation ever happens to your student, you can reassure them that they can call us and we'll handle that problem summarily and get them the quick assistance that they need to be safe. We also provide safety escorts. So if at night or anytime your student feels like they need a safety escort to or from a class, to or from their home, so long as if off campus, we limit it to like a mile away. But if they're on campus, it's anywhere. Safety escorts are a big part of what we do, and we're always happy to help in that capacity. Vehicle assistance, another area. I know a lot of you probably will have your students drive a vehicle to campus, so you'll hear a lot more about the parking side of that from Leah in a little bit. But as far as like a dead battery, or your student gets into some sort of private property accident, collision, we can help with all of that. So campus safety is a good place to start. If your student finds themselves in a position where their car battery is dead or doesn't start, their car doesn't start, or they've found themselves in a collision, or their car's been broken into, I mean, it's a good place to start. Is campus safety. That leads me into crime reporting. Sometimes things get stolen here. That's probably the most frequently reported crime, I would guess, is theft. We can help your student with respect to that, not only taking a report here on campus for awareness and to acknowledge what happened, but also if there's information that could lead to some sort of locating of a suspect or something like that, we would coordinate with them and work with them to work with our law enforcement partners who are literally across the street, Santa Clara Police Department. This is probably a little bit less for newer folks and more for folks that have been here for a little while, but we also assist with event planning and security assessments. This is definitely for newer groups, newer members, safety trainings and information. We provide that free of charge. We coordinate with many of the residence halls to provide safety trainings and safety information pretty regularly. And it's just a part of what we do here at Campus Safety. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we also are a liaison between students and our emergency partners or campus partners, whether it be mental health resources at Cal, or whether it be formal law enforcement or fire department resources. We coordinate and can be a liaison between your student and those partners. Other than that, general information this is always a good place to start. Campus safety is here for you, and if we don't have the ability to help you specific with your specific need, we have people here who probably will know what direction to point you, or what campus resource could help you in that respective situation. So always a good place to start. Campus safety. We're happy to help. If you have questions other than that, I would recommend prior to you coming onto campus, or your student coming onto campus, if you haven't already, to go ahead and look at our website for a bit and kind of just browse and see some of the things that we offer. Many of the things I've covered. There might be other things that you find meaningful or useful, but you just go on to seu.edu and search campus safety, and it should put you in the right place for our website. I see we got some questions in the chat, or some things in the chat. So let me take a look at that. Yeah. So what number does the student call for after hour safety escort? Yeah, so it'd be the number that I listed earlier. And I see Lori here put both numbers up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the number that I posted was probably the best number to call. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. All right, let me see. All right. So I'm going to get to our frequently asked questions. I got this one. We get this one pretty regularly. Are you the police? The answer to that question is absolutely not. We are not the police. We're a campus safety group. We're a non-sworn entity. We don't carry weapons. We don't have arrest powers. We're a campus safety provider and resource. And we are not associated with the Santa Clara Police Department that way, other than coordination with emergency events and ongoing investigations. We don't really have a connection with the Santa Clara Police Department, or a direct connection to the Santa Clara Police Department, or any police department for that matter. So that's an important distinction, because we long to be seen as a campus safety provider, and not sometimes we are confused for law enforcement. So if you can make sure you make that distinction with your student, it would be to us as we work to provide the resources that we provide to your student. Who employs CSS? So we're employees of the university, so we see ourselves as part of the university community in support of its mission. So yeah, we're not contracted security or employed by a third party. We are employees of the university. So we take a lot of pride in that, and we are definitely vested here. Can CSS arrest me or search my room? I think I answered the arrest question. No, we're not here to arrest anyone. And as far as searching a room, yes, there are certain instances where we can search a room as agents for the housing group, residence life. If they find an instance where your student has violated their contract, and there's certain stipulations within the contract, I won't go over all of them, but if they have violated any terms of their contract, then they are susceptible to having their room searched in certain specific instances. But we don't arrest people, and we're not the police that way. I answered the question about safety escorts. So hopefully everybody's clear on that. We do provide safety escorts, and we're happy to do it. Something that I think is underused here, but we encourage your students to use that resource as often as they feel is necessary. But who should we call in case of emergency? This goes back to the best number to call. So non-emergency type situations, where it involves some of the things that we listed earlier, you should feel free to always call campus safety. Call us up. We'll be happy to come out, help you with whatever issue that you need help with. If it's an emergency, we recommend we encourage you to call 911 first. So 911 will go directly to an emergency dispatch center, Santa Clara Police Department or Santa Clara Fire Department, ambulance. So those resources will be dispatched out because you're calling 911. If you call campus safety in an emergency type situation, then we're either going to try and transfer you to 911 or we're going to ask that you hang up and call 911. And so as to eliminate kind of the any confusion or any kind of intermediary, if you have an emergency on campus, call 911. You can always circle then back to campus safety and let us know that something's happening, an emergency is happening wherever you are. We're always grateful for those type calls, but we want to make sure that if you have an emergency situation, you're getting the resources and the help that you need. I can't be more clear on that. So I want to make sure that everyone here understands kind of the difference. In emergency situations, I think everybody's clear on what an emergency situation is, right? If you have somebody's medical emergency, somebody's passing out, somebody has heat stroke, somebody passes out, that's a medical emergency, call 911. If there's any kind of threat on campus, an active threat, call 911. You've been assaulted or, anything like that, call 911. And then you can circle back and contact campus safety after. Hope that answers most people's questions. With that, I'll defer to my colleague, Tyler, and I'll let him talk about emergency operations.
Thank you, Jake. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can see me. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen for our emergency planning page, as well as put the link in the chat so you're able to follow along with your phone or if you're on your PC or Mac, if you would like to. Lori, is that showing up okay?
Yes, shows up perfect.
Yeah. So my name is Tyler Masamori. I am the university's emergency planning manager, and my job is to look at tools and resources that we have both available on campus and off to make your educational experience safe. We want to create an environment where you can come to school and ensure that, whether you're walking from your car, walking to your car, or spending time in the classroom, the library, or in your residence hall, that you feel safe. And we have a lot of resources in place to allow you to do that. And I'll talk a bit about them and focus especially on the SCU Bronco Alert companion app called Guardian. So one of the things that happens is we often go through a cycle of timely emergencies around the country. And the tragedy at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill just illustrates the fact that these can happen at any time and any place. And for that campus, they had a very robust alert system in place with active threat training. So we wanted to go over a little bit about what that might look like here. And I know some of the questions were safety protocols and emergency protocols. And so in the safety tips, you can see, and this is timely, this was updated yesterday, that if you have a Bronco alert that goes out, whether it says lockdown or shelter in place, those two terms are different. They're not synonymous. They don't mean to do the same thing. So if we look at the graphic that kind of compares the two, think of lockdown as something that's man-made, a threat that's outside or inside that is caused by a person or persons. And think of shelter in place as an environmental emergency. So we had to spare the air alert yesterday and today, and if the air quality got bad, or if we had wildfire smoke that drifted down to campus and it was bad enough, there might be a campus closure, we might have orders to stay inside. So we look at those kind of opportunities to differentiate and make sure when you do receive the alert that you're mindful of the differences, and they are not the same. Sometimes they can be used the same in other institutions, but for our purposes at Santa Clara, they're definitely not the same. So how do you get the alerts? And that's done through SCU Bronco Alert. All active students, staff, and faculty are automatically signed up, and we pull all the contact information from Workday, student Workday, staff, faculty Workday. But we would just ask that you would periodically go in. So if you look at your MySU portal, you'll see a tile that says SCU Bronco Alert. And just make sure that your phone number in there and your email in there is the most current one. And the ones that you would likely have on your person to receive these alerts. If you want to advise your parents, or just tell them to come to this website, they can also sign up for an alert system through text only. So if your parents are asking about any kind of alert, emergency alerts or messaging, they can also sign up via a keyword that you see in the middle of the screen. And they'll be able to receive all the campus alerts that go through text message. This app, Rave Guardian, is a free app that connects and is a companion piece to our Bronco Alert system. And the only part that you need to do when downloading it is use your SEU username and password, so your credentials that you would use to log into MySU portal, and you're automatically in the app. The screenshot that you see is what you'll see in the layout of the screen. So there's a couple fantastic resources there. There's campus resources like the Wellness Center, the Multicultural Center, Campus Safety Emergency Planning, but you're also able to set a virtual escort. So if you're in a situation where you wanted to walk from the main parking garage to the north side of campus, and you didn't feel like you needed Campus Safety to walk you directly, you can do that virtually and let Campus Safety know. And if you don't check in a certain allotted period of time, say 5 to 10 minutes, then your specific guardians will be alerted. So this person didn't check in, and they'll let you know your last known location. If you wanted to call 911 directly from the app or Campus Safety directly from the app, one of the safety features it does have, as soon as you click the button to connect a call, before the cellular connection is even established, it lets Campus Safety Dispatch know your exact location on campus relative to 10 to 15 feet. And we'll be able to hopefully triangulate with cameras and officers that are in the area to see what the problem is. You can also chat with Campus Safety. So if you see something that just doesn't feel right, suspicious person, their behaviors are doing something that you just feel like might be a prelude to a crime, you can chat with Campus Safety confidentially, anonymous, or with your name, and you can send photos or videos to us to let us know what you see, what you hear, and what you may smell, whether it's someone that maybe dropped a cigarette in a trash bin that's starting to ignite, or someone that's trying to actively cut a lock off a bicycle on campus. So both those things have happened. And we both had campus community members report in to some success to apprehend the perpetrators. One of the other questions that I received, or at least directed towards me, was about evacuation drills that were conducted on campus. And for all the residence halls, those are done twice a year, in the fall and in the spring. They are unannounced, but they're done in a way that makes sure that everybody knows where their emergency assembly points are, where to go in an emergency, and how to get there safely. So just to show you on campus, here's a very busy map. But if you do have some spare time, just know that those letters indicate your emergency assembly point. So where you need to go, if it's safe to do so during an evacuation. And for the evacuation drills, the resident hall directors, the ARDs, the CFs, and the housing staff will direct you to there. So it's a reminder for your safety to go there in an orderly fashion. So bring what you can with you. Generally, people bring their cell phones with them. And if it is an active threat, other kind of emergency, that you'll be looking to SU Bronco Alert for all the latest information. So what we know, you'll know as soon as possible. Before I continue a little bit more about Bronco Alert, are there any questions at all from the group? Okay. Because it is timely, I wanted to talk a little bit more about run, hide, fight. And you might see this often in training materials, both on university campuses and the corporate world, and just in general. And by no means does this mean you have to run and then hide and then fight. Think of this as a non-linear suggestion of things that you can do. More often than not, you're going to want to run away from whatever threat is in the area. You can't run away, you want to hide. And if the threat is so close to you that your only option is to fight, then grab whatever you can, whether it's a fire extinguisher, your backpack, your phone, your keys, anything at all that you can do to put some barriers between you and the suspect. Now, this isn't to say that you need to do any of those in any sequence, but you also need to be mindful that these are your options. And there are plenty of areas on campus that have lockdown procedures. So what you'll see on various doors and what they call crash bars on campus, the big bars that you push to get out, is there'll be a lockdown button or a lever, or you'll shift something 3 times in a row, and that immediately locks down the door right in front of you, or a series of doors in the room. So you're gonna not only protect yourself, but those that are in the same room with you, and you'll be able to put another effective barrier between you and whatever else is going on outside. Now, barricading the doors is another thing that is kind of whatever you can find around you, whether it's chairs, tables, sofas, a refrigerator, anything at all that you can put between the door that would cause it not to open or be opened easily. Oftentimes you'll find that people will put shades down on the windows. You'll find that they'll put other kind of barriers up, paper, trash bags and things. But if you feel the need to do that, just be mindful that those can be taken down by first responders to ensure that everyone is safe inside that room and that everyone inside the room is no longer a threat. Any questions from the group at all? So just to quickly conclude, like Jake had mentioned, excuse me, 911. Whenever you're faced with anything you feel could rise to the level of emergency, just call 911, or you can text 911. So in an active threat situation, people are barricading, locking down inside a room, and you can't make a sound, you can text the 911. The response is exactly the same. You get the same amount of questions, and responders will try to ascertain what is going on and how they can best help you in that situation. Make sure you program some of the phone numbers that you see in your phone, label them accordingly, and just be sure to be mindful and resilient of your own personal safety, but those around you. So again, if you see something, say something. Let Campus Safety know. We're a 24-hour operation. If you have any questions about anything on this website, please let me know. It's always a work in progress. So there's definitely room to add resources and tips. I know that satellite phone capabilities are coming into a very manageable, cost-effective type of gadgetry. And then you can also look at types of resources that you learn from maybe high schools or other businesses that you want to bring into the university. So I'm open to any and all suggestions, and I just appreciate your time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And now we're going on to our next presenter, Leah. You have the floor.
Thank you, Lori. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I'm Leah Nakasaki Peterson, Assistant Director for Parking and Transportation Services. Lori, can you see my presentation? Are we good to go?
Not yet. You're not sharing your screen yet.
Oh, sorry. That would help. You see it?
Yes, now I see it.
Perfect. So I've been in this role for 17 months now, but I've been serving the university community for over 16 years. So I wanted to start with just our organizational chart. So there's me at the top, and then I have 2 key staff support under me, our shift supervisor, as well as our office manager. The shift supervisor has 2 parking staff members under them, who have various responsibilities, including enforcement, helping with events, multiple things under them, organizational items such as organizing our fenced in areas, such as making sure equipment is organized, signage is organized, putting those things out for our campus community. Then our office manager is responsible for daily activities within the office. They have now 6 desk assistants under them, and we will be having 2 vacant positions as well. So if any of you are interested, shameless plug to log into HR's website and apply for those positions, which will be coming soon. All right, so Lori, thank you for sending me some preliminary questions that individuals had about parking and transportation services. I added them here to the presentation so that hopefully I can answer a lot of your questions ahead of time. So big question now, how do I purchase a parking permit? So all student information is being uploaded into Workday, and then it is then being populated into AIMS, our new parking permit sales system. And you'll see the icon here. That is going to be on your MySCU portal very soon. We're hoping that it gets up and running by mid to late next week. We're still working out a lot of bugs in the system, and we want to make sure that it is it's as user-friendly, good to go for our entire campus community. So who needs a parking permit to park on campus? Well, if you're parking in any SCU lots, then everyone does need a parking permit. What type of parking permit do I need? So once information is uploaded into AIMS, all permits will be designated to students based on their status. So if you're a residential student, you will have a certain permit designated to you based off of your residence hall. And so it will be the closest lot to your respective residence hall. If you're a commuter student, you will have a different option than residential students and law students and so forth. Next, how much are parking permits? So you can find our permit fee information on our website. Our website is built into chapters, so there's a lot of reading material there if you have any sleepless nights. But chapter 4 of our parking and transportation policies has information related to permit fees. What are the least expensive options for parking permits? So we have F lots, which are reduced fee lots. They're located a little bit further away from campus, or and they're available to all students to purchase, residential or non-residential. And there's the cost there, and that's also located in chapter 4 of our parking and transportation policies. What if I'm a first-year student and I need to park on campus? So we try to discourage first years from parking on campus, and we redirect them to public transportation, rideshare, other alternative options for first years, just so that they do not impede on limited parking resources. But if you're a first year that does have a hardship and you need to bring your car to campus, you're a commuter, you're a residential student, and you have a car, you need to apply for a hardship permit via the AIMS single sign-on tile. So that is coming shortly. The deadline to apply is Sunday, September 10th. Where can I find a map of SCU campus that includes all parking lots and structures? And Lori, I'll send this slideshow to you so that you can forward it to everyone that's on this call. But we have an updated campus map here. And this includes the entire campus, our parking structures. It also has information related to any skateboard racks that are on campus, where zip car locations are as well as the respective rideshare location where individuals should be picked up and dropped off on campus. There was a question that was sent earlier about, does SCU have an airport flyer to and from San Jose International Airport? Unfortunately, VTA no longer offers this shuttle service to and from SJC. But our department is looking into alternative solutions to assist our students, staff, faculty, and visiting community to and from SJC. We have some incentives that are part of our program. One big one is our alternative transit card. This is a card that's available to carpoolers, those that bike to campus, those who have purchased monthly public transportation passes. And so what our office does is we will provide an alternative transit card to those respective individuals. And if you come to campus by those means, multiple times per month, we will punch out your card and then issue you 5 free daily parking passes for reducing the impact on our limited parking resources. We also offer discounted Altamont Corridor Express passes, ACE passes. They're at a 50% reduced rate, and you can get those in our office. We also offer U-Locks in our office that are available at subsidized rates. You can purchase those in our office as well. We also have EV charging stations across campus that are available for all students to use with a valid parking permit displayed. Right now, we do not charge to use the charging stations. That will change, but we will make sure to give our SCU community the heads up to let you guys know what the new fee structure will be. And then lastly, I just put our department hours, our contact information, and I'll make sure to share my information with Lori as well, so that you guys have that, my personal information, in case you have any questions. Any additional questions for me? You know, there was one about first-year commuter students. And so hopefully I answered that, that your information will be loaded into Ames and you'll be able to purchase a pass based off of your student status. And so for commuter students, it would be an E permit that you'll be able to purchase, or you'll have the option to purchase an F permit as well at the reduced rate. Where's the F lot compared to Casa Italiana dorm? So closest F lot is going to be the Levy lot. The Levy lot is closed. It's under construction right now, but we're hoping that it will be up and running again by October. The next closest F lot would be the Guadalupe Hall lot, which is directly across the street off of Ocolte and El Camino. E lots, those are going to be the main parking structure as well as the North Campus garage. You will, with any valid parking permit, you will also have the option to park in any overflow lots, which are the F lots. Any additional questions that I can answer? The link for the map, I will include in this presentation so that all of you guys have it. But it is also on our parking and transportation website as well. Anything else for me? Or for any of us on this call, for Tyler with emergency planning and Jacob with campus safety services?
So I do have a question. So anybody who parks in the garage needs an E-permit, and any student can purchase one of those if it's not a first-year student.
No, so,
Okay.
so E-permits are available to commuter students only.
Okay,
And so your student status will be listed, in your Workday account and then transferred over to us in Ames. So we can make sure that you get, the correct parking pass.
okay.
Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, because I think my students, he's a transfer commuter student, so I was just wondering, like, is that different from, because he would want to park on campus instead of walking a country mile to get to wherever he needed to. I mean,
Yeah,
but do we know how much the E-passes are versus the E-permits?
yeah, so,
Is that similar to what you had already put up?
it'll be, right, it'll be $400 for an annual pass.
Okay, got it.
And all of the parking permit fees are, they're listed on our website. Your student will also see, all of the pricing information once they log into their Ames account. And so there's multiple options that they'll have available to them. They can purchase either an annual pass, a semi-annual pass, which is for 2 quarters, or they can purchase a quarterly, or monthly permit as well.
And you did say Ames isn't up and running yet, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
We hope to have it up and running by mid to late next week.
Okay, so students should check probably more towards the end of next week, correct?
Yes, and we will send a campus-wide announcement to let everyone know that they're now available to purchase their permit via Ames.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Leah, there's a question in the chat regarding a clarification question regarding first-year commuter students being able to fill out a hardship request form. Can any first-year commuter student do that?
Yes, any first-year commuter student who has a need to park on campus, they can fill out the hardship request form. And that will be done via Ames. And the deadline to apply is September 10th.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I think a lot of our questions have been answered. Thank you so much to our campus partners. We will hang around for any last minute questions, but the formal part of the webinar and Q&A has come to an end, but we will be here for any last questions or one-on-one questions if you want to unmute and be able to ask those to the team.